Good evening, everyone. It's the Board of Trustees regular meeting number 2021-01. The date is January 12th, 2021. It is 7:30 p.m. on the dot. We are in the Village Hall Auditorium. Jane, could you please take the roll?
President Barry?
Here.
Trustee Desmond?
Here.
Trustee Phelan?
Here.
Trustee Vorder?
Here.
Trustee Mallow?
Here.
Trustee Stalker?
Here.
Trustee Oliniechek?
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Would everyone rise for the pledge, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everyone. I'm told we have no public comments. Is that correct, Jane?
Correct.
Thank you. Very good. We're going to move on to item 4, conflict of interest disclosure. Does anyone have a conflict to disclose with any item on tonight's agenda? Hearing none, we're going to move on to item 5, Resolution 210101, our first resolution of 2021. Resolution honoring retiring Oak Lawn Chamber of Commerce Executive Director Julie Miller. I'm going to ask you, Julie, to come on up, and anyone you want with you. If there are any chamber members, and Jane, would you like to come up too? Yeah, I guess we need a motion first.
Motion.
Thank you.
Second.
The motion was trustee Oliniechek, second by trustee Desmond. Any discussion? Under discussion, I'm going to do a little presentation here. Let's see if this works. Whoa, that's loud. Anyone from the chamber want to come up? So the Oak Lawn Chamber of Commerce is the strongest chamber in the Southland. It's been just amazing. And one of the reasons it's so amazing is the steady, true leadership of our retiring executive director, Julie Miller. Julie started about 13 years ago with the chamber, and she has really, really grown it, supported all the board members, all the members. There isn't a better, finer chamber in the whole Southland. And Julie, we're so sad to see you go. We're happy you're retiring and going to enjoy life. But what a difference and what a positive change you've made in our community. Thank you. Thank you. Trustee Mallow. Thank you. Julie, you're something really special, and we'll never forget the impact you made in our community. So congratulations.
I want to thank Dr. Barry and the Village Board for this recognition. I'm really honored. It's just a privilege to be here tonight. I've worked with most of you, or many of you in this room, to better our Oak Lawn community. I've lived in this community for the past 35 years, and I've also worked in this community for the past 13 years. I've been fortunate enough to see this community grow and prosper, and I look forward to seeing it continue with all the people that we have in place. I think this will definitely happen. I want to thank the Chamber Board of Directors and all the Chamber members.
President, Dr. Katie Narboni, our incoming President, Eileen Curlin-Walsh, and other members.
Thank you. I wanted to thank, like I said, the Board of Directors and my family for all the support that they've given me over the past 13 years. I feel that this is a wonderful community to work in and to live in and to be here just on a daily basis. That we have great schools, great fire, great police. And I've always said through the years, it's your community and your investment. So shop Oak Lawn. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Quick second, Julie, it's just been a pleasure. You're not only with the chamber, but you're a friend, and you'll always be a friend. And I'll be right behind you in return. So we'll be going out.
Call me up, we'll go to lunch.
Oh, all these retirees, I don't know. Anyway, does anyone from the chamber want to say anything briefly? Okay. Oh, sure. Okay, just brief. Thanks.
Julie, you've been a delight whenever I ever had an issue. You were like Johnny on the spot. So you'll be missed, and I know you'll enjoy your retirement. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, and thank you to the family and the chamber members for showing support.
Thank you so much.
All the best,
Can we
Julie.
get a picture real quick with my family?
We want the family to come up real quick for a picture.
Yes, I do.
Okay. Want Jane in it?
Yes, I do.
Jane?
Flavia? Oh, I don't have to.
Thank you. One more round of applause.
Picture, the pic.
It's never been more important to keep our small business community vibrant, and supporting chamber members, shopping Oak Lawn, all these things are little things we could do to make our community better. We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Let's call the vote, please.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you very much. Item 6, approval of the meeting minutes for the special meeting minutes 2020-25 dated December 18th, 2020. May I have a motion, please, on number 6?
Motion to approve.
Who was that, please?
Me.
Trustee Stalker, thank you. Do I have a second?
I'll second, Mayor.
Trustee Vorder, thank you. Any discussion? Call that vote, please.
Trustee Desmond?
Yes.
Trustee Phelan?
Yes.
Trustee Vorder?
Yes.
Trustee Mallow?
Yes.
Trustee Stalker?
Yes.
Trustee Oliniechek?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Item 7, approval of meeting minutes for the special meeting minutes 2020-26 dated December 18th, 2020. May I have a motion on item 7, please?
Motion approved.
Thank you. Trustee Mallow made that motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second, Mayor.
Thank you. Trustee Vorder. Any discussion? Call that vote, please.
Trustee Desmond?
Yes.
Trustee Phelan?
Yes.
Trustee Vorder?
Yes.
Trustee Mallow?
Yes.
Trustee Stalker?
Yes.
Trustee Oliniechek?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. New business by village trustees. District 1, Trustee Desmond. Okay, District 2, Trustee Oliniechek.
Yes, I do have something very serious to talk about. Recently, it's brought to our attention that there was a police reform bill called House Bill 163 that in a lame duck session of our government in Springfield was brought up. And what concerns me about this is we got the word out, and you don't read anything about it, you don't hear anything about it unless you get information about it. And I am proud as the police liaison that the chief and numerous police officers brought this to my attention, because I will tell you, legislation like this has no place in the society that we're in now to try to give extra protectionism to criminals and make it more difficult for police to do their jobs. And I was able to, through the social media, through communication with other friends and family, be able to object to this. I know that the board has and the funny thing is, it started out as House Bill 163, and then after a lot of objections and a lot of pressure going down to Springfield, it got revised as House Bill 3653. And there's some language on Senate Bill 1968. This type of lame duck, trying to push through some very serious legislation that will have a huge impact on the safety of our community and the ability for the taxpayers in this village to continue to supply the police with the tools that they need, is irresponsible for any one of our elected officials to even consider. We still need to keep that pressure going, because the lame duck session's probably got, about another 12 to 14 hours? tomorrow afternoon, and I will tell you that I've been in touch with Representative Burke, Representative Flowers, and State Senator Cunningham, and voiced not only my objection, but I can tell you that Trustee Phelan has done a tremendous job with using social media and getting the word out there, but we cannot let this type of legislation go through, and we need the support of this village, and not just this village. Everybody in the state of Illinois needs to understand what's going on, that for whatever reason, in my humble opinion, rogue elected people in a lame duck session could try to push through some powerful restrictive legislation that, quite honestly, will have a negative effect not only on our police's ability to protect our village and our Cook County and our state, but the amount of regulation that it puts into the village's hand. This could be an average of $4,000 to $5,000 increase in training liability for the village of Oak Lawn, not to include the other language that's in this. So please, if you hear this, if you see this, talking to anybody, we need to show unanimous support against this type of legislation.
Thank you. District 3.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to echo Trustee Olenichik's opinion on that. I think it's something that we definitely need to make sure that people understand what it is. It's crazy that you don't even hear about it unless our chief tells us about it. It's not on the news, it's not anywhere, but it's being pushed through. So I'd just like to say I'd support that.
Thank you. District 4.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I see that on our consent agenda, there is a resolution to vote to oppose this Bill 163, and I will be pulling it off the agenda and ask our chief to speak to it, okay, from a police perspective so that we can get his take on it. And I'd just like to say this is our first meeting of 2021, and of course, the first week of 2021. Like to see a reset of this week, but I am hoping that things will get better. We'll be able to deal with this pandemic and we can get about life again in a normal way. That's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. District 5.
I just want to echo what Trustee Olenichik said. I got calls from my police family down in Pinckneyville in southern Illinois about this House bill, and they wanted me to oppose it, so I certainly will. And I support anything that we can do to oppose this House bill. Just as a point of information, there have been several questions about the bridge across Stoney Creek. It's a walkway that crosses the bridge north to south, just north of Richards High School. A lot of folks walk that bridge every day and get their exercise walking through the park. It's out of service for the winter. It's going out to bid in the next couple of weeks. They expect to have repairs in the early spring, and it'll be back in service sometime in the early spring, to go toward Lord willing. That's all I have. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. District 6.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a couple of items without going into depth about what's already been said, but tying this into Julie Miller's retirement, mayor and clerk's retirement, and, you know, from my perspective as a taxpayer and citizen, not as a trustee or an elected official, what I look for and think about most, where I live, where I want to raise my family, and I'm sure it's the same for everybody, is you worry about your kids. And, you know, my father recently said, boy, I'm glad I'm not going to be around much longer to see where this is all going. And that's a pretty jarring statement. But as I watched up there and heard, you know, the things about Julie, we just did a recent village-wide mailing of our newsletter where we touched on a number of things. And, you know, some of those things were safety, also educating people on our taxes and how we believe, you know, keeping taxes low are important. And I think when you tie those two things together, at least from my perspective, if you believe you live in a community that's safe and where your tax dollars are well spent, you're going to want to remain in that community. You want to recruit other people to live here. You're going to want to see businesses move here. And I wanted to say this while Julie was still here. I feel bad I didn't. But as we sit here tonight, I think almost every major intersection in Oak Lawn has development interest. And that's it's just unbelievable. And just another call today regarding the 95th Street corridor with some really exciting news. And I think about this legislation, and you're watching what's happening in this country. And I don't know if it's, incumbent upon each local, governing body, but they say all politics are local, but there isn't enough being said about obeying lawful commands. Anytime you're perceived as being against this by people who are supporting it, it's because you want to defend bad police officers, which is absurd. Nobody ever makes that claim. Nobody's interested in doing that. The police themselves don't want bad police officers in the ranks. But it's astounding to me how this has not been advanced as a counter argument by people in power. Okay, we agree about the need for reform when it comes to bad police officers. However, in almost every case, if not every case, that has led to the problems for the last decade with rioting, Black Lives Matter, Antifa, all of these things, up until including now the other side that's now rioting and not obeying lawful orders of law enforcement officials and paying the price for it with their lives. When are we going to stand up and say, here's a solution, and I don't mean an idea, it's a solution. If you obey lawful orders, I'd like to see the study on people who obey lawful orders and don't get shot. I'd argue it's probably a 1-to-1 correlation. And it's maddening to hear what when you think about people and this social media thing. I think the mayor always says it's going to lead to the next world war, autocorrect and social. To hear people who believe strongly in their opinion and are right-minded in their thinking, but yet they won't concede that, hey, if you just listen to the police, even if you're targeted, if you're, unfairly pulled over, falsely accused and arrested, handle it in the courts. Bring it to the powers that be. This notion that you immediately have the right to confront and in cases that we're seeing hand-to-hand combat, it's absurd. And it's being encouraged with each person that mouths these words about how the police are the problem. We need to decertify and defund. There is that element of people who don't pay attention to the finer details of these incidents and just go off of what they're reading in the media. And it's this vicious cycle. And I think it's incumbent upon us, and I mean legislators at all levels, including this low level, to start putting forth, through our lobbying groups, through the Illinois Municipal League, through whomever else we can, okay, we're not against reforming where there's need, but there also needs to be very, very severe consequence for disobeying lawful order. And I don't know if that's not been the case, or it seems to be obvious, but maybe the voices of those people who think, hey, law and order, security, safety, we could figure out all the rest, but if we can't go to Dunkin' Donuts for coffee or to go get popcorn for the grandkids without getting robbed and killed, the rest of it doesn't even matter. So I'd like to, if we could, maybe with the attorneys, Dan, police chief, or manager, assistant manager, put together some sort of effort and recruit others, like-minded elected officials, to start pushing this forth as a really strong message that also can be a House bill, as opposed to just this one-sided effort to demonize the police and make all of us less safe. So that's all I wanted to say this evening, but I feel very strongly about it.
Thank you very much. Okay. Village Manager's Report. Our village manager, Randy Palmer, could not attend today's meeting, but I want to use this opportunity to introduce our Assistant Village Manager, Brian Town. Brian, I think this is your first opportunity to speak at our meetings, and I want to just give you the floor and say hello, welcome, and you've been doing Pardon?
You have 2 minutes, no.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mayor.
Oh, where you live. Kidding.
Thank you, and good evening, Mayor and Clerk Quinn, trustee. I want to thank all of you for your tremendous support over the past few months as I have acclimated to my new role. I am grateful to you for your trust and confidence that you have placed in me. I look forward to working in partnership with this board, our outstanding staff led by Chief Palmer, and of course, our community, our residents, and our businesses. My background in managing and leading staffs of large, multifaceted organizations and high-profile and high-pressure environments has prepared me for this challenge. These experiences have allowed me to develop skills that enable me to prioritize and juggle multiple concurrent projects. And I want to close my remarks tonight by just thanking our first responders for their service and sacrifice. To witness how this board and this entire community supports them makes me proud beyond belief, helps to restore my faith in humanity in the future of our children. And just to back up what was said earlier about the social media push against this bill, I just saw a report just from Friday, over 100,000 people have e-slipped against this bill. So I believe the momentum's on our side.
Good. Thank you.
Thank you.
And welcome to the limelight, sir.
Thank you.
Very good. Item 10 is our consent agenda. All items on the consent agenda are routine and have been brought forward at the direction of the Board of Trustees and will be enacted with one motion. If discussion is desired, that item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered separately. 10A is a request to approve the Zoning and Planning Commission referral for a special use permit for retail use on an office district, in an office district at 9632 South Pulaski Road. This was a 6-0 vote to approve. Jihad Almar is the petitioner in District 4. 10B is an ordinance granting that request. C is a request to extend date of twice previously approved by the Board of Trustees for the 2 temporary reserve trailers until March 11th, 2021 for the Amazon building at 4031 West 95th Street. And D is an ordinance granting that request. 10E is a request to approve the Zoning and Planning Commission referral for a special use permit for a residential use in a C2 district at 9725 Southwest Highway. This was a 5-1 vote to approve. Zamira Zayed is the petitioner in District 3. F is an ordinance granting that request. G is a request to approve the Zoning and Planning Commission referral for a special use permit for an office use in an R3 district. Site and structure variations and a landscape variation at 4245 West 95th Street. This was a 4-2 vote to approve. Patrick McFowler is the petitioner in District 4. And then item H is an ordinance granting that request. I is ordinance 210105, an ordinance adding certain sections to Title 8, Chapter 5, entitled Garbage and Refuse of the Oaklawn Village Code. J is ordinance 210106, an ordinance amending certain sections of Title 8 of the Village Code pertaining to food and food establishments. K is ordinance 210107, an ordinance amending Title 9, Chapter 4, Article B, like boy, entitled Rates and Charges of the Oaklawn Village Code. L is ordinance 210108, an ordinance amending a section of Title 3, Chapter 15, entitled Regulation of Tobacco Products. M is ordinance 210109, an ordinance amending Title 3, Chapter 20, Section 2 of the Oaklawn Village Code entitled Tax Imposed. N, ordinance 210110, an ordinance amending certain sections of Title 9, Chapter 4, Article B, entitled Rates and Charges of the Oaklawn Village Code. O is ordinance 210111, an ordinance approving execution of an agreement regarding the monetization of the village's cell tower enterprise. P like Paul, ordinance 210112, an ordinance amending Title 9, Chapter 4, Article E, entitled Water Use and Consumption Tax. Q, ordinance 210113, an ordinance approving the sale of certain real property located at 4440 Southwest Highway. R ordinance 210114, an ordinance approving the sale of certain real property located at 9200 South Kilpatrick Avenue. S ordinance 210115, an ordinance setting the time and date for a public hearing to consider the amended redevelopment plan and project for the Patriot Station TIF redevelopment project area and convening a joint review board in connection therewith. T, Resolution 210102, a resolution approving the Oaklawn Regional Emergency Communications Center's use of the water tower property located at 98th and Massasoit. U, Resolution 210103, resolution authorizing Fifth Amendment to the credit agreement with First Midwest Bank. V is Resolution 210104, resolution opposing Illinois House Bill 163. May I have a motion on item 10, please?
Motion to approve.
Thank you. Trustee Mallow made that motion. Do I have a second? Second was Trustee Oliniechek. Any discussion?
Mayor, I'd like to remove items E, F, and T.
E, F like Frank, and T like Tom. Okay. Any other
Yeah,
discussion?
Mayor, I'd like to remove G and H and V.
G and H and V. and-
G, H, and V.
G like George, H like Harold, V like Victor.
You got it.
Okay. Any other discussion?
Item O, please.
Oh, okay. So we have a motion to, any other discussion before I move on? Okay, so we're calling the vote on everything in item 10 except E, F, G, H, T, V, and O. Okay, so let's call the vote on everything but G, E, F, G, H, T, V, and O.
Trustee Desmond? Yes. Trustee Phelan?
Yes.
Trustee Vorder?
Yes.
Trustee Mallow?
Yes.
Trustee Stalker?
Yes.
Trustee Oliniechek?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Item 10E is a request to approve the Zoning and Planning Commission referral for a special use permit for a residential use in a C2 district at 9725 Southwest Highway. 5-1 vote to approve. Zamira Zayat is the petitioner in District 3, and F is an ordinance granting that request. May I have a motion, please, on E and F?
Motion to deny.
We have a motion to deny.
Second.
And a second. We do have the petitioner present, I believe. Is the petitioner nearby? Okay, very good. So we have a motion to deny in a second. Any discussion? Okay, hearing none, we're going to call the vote. This is a motion to deny item E and F.
Trustee Desmond?
Generally, it's a board meeting and the opportunity for comments, but I encourage you to reach out to your trustee and the village management team. Okay, so motion to deny item E and F. Let's call that vote, please.
Trustee Desmond? Yes. Trustee Phelan?
Yes.
Trustee Vorder?
Yes.
Trustee Mallow?
Yes.
Trustee Stalker?
Yes.
Trustee Oliniechek?
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0 to deny.
Thank you. And then we have item 10G, a request to approve the Zoning and Planning Commission referral for a special use permit for an office use in a R3 district, site and structure variations and a landscape variation at 4245 West 95th Street. This was a 4-0 vote to approve. H is an ordinance granting that request. May I have a motion on G and H?
Motion, a motion to approve, Mayor.
Okay, we have a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Second.
Okay, Trustee Mallow beat you to the punch, Trustee Stalker, so Trustee Warder is our first, Trustee Mallow is our second. Any discussion, Trustee?
Yes, Mayor. Is Mr. McFowler here?
Yes.
Yes, I've met with Mr. McFowler on a couple of occasions, one occasion, and he originally came with a plan to build a 5-story building. His building was built in 1959, and it is past its useful life. Mr. Fowler has got an office there too, correct? And he wishes to tear it down and rebuild, okay, a new building there. And in the course of our discussions, parking is a major, major issue for where he's at. And I've walked and met with the community on 2 occasions. I got a lot of feedback on how they feel about this. And to the credit of Mr. Fowler, he came back and revised his plan twice, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Once with a 4-story building,
Right.
and then now with a 3-story building, and he's increase some underground parking on that building.
Yes, sir.
You're not putting any additional units there.
No addition.
You're actually,
Not answer, no back and forth, please, unless.
okay,
that's on you.
well, I'm asking him. I'm asking
Okay, okay.
for clarification. Anyway, I think he's done a wonderful job. I look forward to seeing this. I don't think the community's 100% on, but I think that if you can reach an agreement, and not everybody's 100%, but everybody's willing to go along with it, you've done a great job. So I'm looking forward to your building being built. Do you have any plans on when it's going to go up?
The process is going to start at about 9 months out, where we're going to actually start bidding, and so maybe about a year and a half out, everything should be completed.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mayor. That's all I have. I just wanted to report to the
Discussion?
community on what's happening there.
Yeah, I got a comment.
Yes, trustee Stalker.
I was one of the main objectors to this building when it first came to my attention because my doctor has an office across the street. Mr. Fowler has met their objections, and I no longer object to it, so I'll support this.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Any other discussion? Yeah, I think it's an area that has a lot of potential with its proximity to the hospital, I think, to attract, residents, or it's a smart move, I think, to do some updated units. I think there will be a need for more upscale apartments in that part of town. So with that, we're going to call the vote.
Trustee Desmond? Yes. Trustee Phelan?
Yes.
Trustee Vorder?
Yes.
Trustee Mallow?
Yes.
Trustee Stalker?
Yes.
Trustee Oliniechek?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, item O, congratulations. Item O, an ordinance approving execution of an agreement regarding the monetization of the village's cell tower enterprise. May I have a motion on?
Mayor, I'd like to move that we move this item to after executive session. We're going to learn about some of the details on the offers in this endeavor during executive session, so I think it's better if we
Okay,
move
so
it down.
we'll move it to just before,
15 or before 15?
we'll move it after 14. I'd
14?
like a
Or
motion
adjournment,
then.
yes.
So we have a motion to move O, remove it from item 10 and discuss it after item 14. May I have a second? Okay, trustee Mallow is our second. Any discussion? Let's call that vote, please.
Trustee Desmond? Yes. Trustee Phelan?
Yes.
Trustee Vorder?
Yes.
Trustee Mallow?
Yes.
Trustee Stalker?
Yes.
Trustee Oliniechek?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Item T, Resolution 210102, resolution approving the Oaklawn Regional Emergency Communications Center's use of water tower property located at 98th and Massasoit. May I have a motion on T, please?
Motion to approve.
Thank you. Trustee Mallow made that motion.
Second.
Seconded by trustee Vorder. Any discussion here, gentlemen?
Yes, Mayor, I just think it's important to make sure that we talk about this a little bit, just because it is an important part of our village and what we do here for OLREC, and making that motion, or making that move to a different location is something that Diane's been coming to the board with numerous different options, and I think this is important that we make sure that there's discussion about this location. I support this location. There is a water tower there. It is within the residential area. But correct me if I'm wrong, Diana, this is a place that does not have employees moving in and out regularly, correct?
No, so what we would do, pardon me, let me get this set up. So we have been able to, as part of the joint board, and just to kind of explain to the residents too, OLREC is our regional 911 center. We are currently located in the village of Oaklawn in this building. However, this building was initially designed to be a full police department at one time. So the space that we have for a regional 911 center, and when I say regional, we dispatch for 8 different fire departments now and 6 police departments. The village of Oaklawn is our biggest client. So we'd like to remain in the village of Oaklawn. We've had a couple of studies done, space studies, surveys done of different properties, different parcels, land. And the space that we're currently in, we should be occupying no less than about 4,000 to 5,000 square feet. Our entire center right now is less than 2,000 square feet. It's a very tight facility. We average almost 200,000 calls a year. The amount of employees that we have is tight fit, especially with the pandemic going on. It's very hard for them to distance. The equipment, now, the neat part about it is our technology is all advanced. So we're definitely not looking to start replacing a bunch of our technology. We'll be moving everything from this site to the new site. The new site is what we're looking at is just a single-story building. We haven't put any plans together as of yet. Because we are part of a joint board as well, going to this board for tonight is to have the approval for us to move forward with our joint board in discussion of, financially funding the project. I do want to say this openly, this is not going to burden or be a hardship to a taxpayer. This project will be funded with what we already have. Our dispatch center has a capital reserve. We're looking to use that instead of capital improvements to kind of what we have now, taking those capital reserves and funding a new building and the new equipment and new things that we need to go into that building. So that's going to be part of a joint board discussion with the other communities that are paying into that and funding, as well as Oak Lawn. But our first step after finally, being able to secure a site, and I also want to publicly acknowledge we have had a couple of other communities who have stepped up and said, we want you to stay in the village of Oak Lawn, but if that doesn't work, we're also explore some, property that we have in the other villages that we dispatch for. But we're all in agreement that we would like to remain here, centrally located. It's a big part of Oak Lawn. We love being here. We're the big hub of Oak Lawn. So with that said, if today we're seeking that approval to be able to move forward and explore this property located by the water tower. Again, and to do a smaller building. It won't be, it's our dispatchers. We only have about 5 or 6 people out per shift. So there isn't going to be like, amount of traffic that you'd see, coming in and out of a hospital or anything like that. Residents should feel very secured as well, because we interact a lot with our police department. So we'll have, different chiefs stop by for meetings. They may see emergency vehicles, parked there once in a while. And that potentially just adds to the security in that area too.
Thank you very much. Any questions for Diana?
Diana, I just want to congratulate you on all the hard work that you've done. Real estate's tight in the village of Oak Lawn, and the thought of losing our dispatch center, which I've been part of for 50 years as a police officer, would break my heart. So this is a prime location. We're in the center of Oak Lawn. I congratulate you for all your hard work and the decision to bring this to the board. And I, of course, will vote yes for this. That's all, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Let's call the vote, please, on item T.
Trustee Desmond? Yes. Trustee Phelan?
Yes.
Trustee Warder?
Yes.
Trustee Mallow?
Yes.
Trustee Stalker?
Yes.
Trustee Oliniechek?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you very much. We have lastly on item 10, item 10V, Resolution 210104, resolution opposing Illinois House Bill 163, requested by the village manager. May I have a motion on V, please?
Motion to approve, Mayor.
Trustee Vorder made
Second.
that motion, seconded by Trustee Oliniechek. Any discussion? Trustee?
Yes, Mayor, we've heard our opinions on the board, and we're pretty strongly opposed to this. But I would like to hear the police department's perspective on this bill, where it came from, because we only learned about this a couple of days ago. And how does the police unions and the police chiefs feel about this bill? Can you report on that?
Sure. Well, first, I'd like to start by thanking the board for their continued support. I know I've kind of flooded your inbox the last couple days, and I'm sure every time you see my name pop up, you're like, oh, geez, what does he say to me now? But this really just started, recently. I can't really say what, I've only seen bits and pieces on the news of who actually started it or who proposed it. But basically, what I would call this, I wouldn't even call this a on the police, I would call this a deconstruct the police. There are several items that they're looking to achieve. One is to oppose qualified immunity for police officers. They think that if they, the police officers can't be sued with qualified immunity, well, they can. As I'm sure you're all aware, and I'm sure Paul's aware, we can be sued. They want to eliminate the bail system. All I can say is look at how great that's working for New York. And basically, unfortunately, right now in Cook County, our bail system is very weak to begin with. They want to oppose the 3 phone call bill. Basically, what that is to allow a person who's in custody 3 phone calls within an hour of being in custody. It's virtually impossible for us to do that. They want to ban military equipment. Well, it's not military equipment. The stuff that we use is less lethal equipment, so we don't have to use lethal force. If you take that option away from us, it's either, okay, our hands or our guns. There has to be something in the middle, and that's what they're trying to eliminate. And they're also trying to eliminate sworn affidavits for complaints. So basically, the officer would automatically be guilty, and they don't even have to swear to it. He'd have to prove himself innocent. So these are just some of the highlights. If you ask who's opposed it or what other agencies think about it, I'm a member of the Illinois Association of Chiefs of Police. They're vehemently opposed to it. That's the organization that I've been forwarding you all the information from. The Illinois Sheriff's Association is opposed to it. The Illinois FOP Labor Council is opposed to it. And the Chicago Lodge FOP is also opposed to it. There are some parts of it, and, I echo all your sentiments. There are some parts of it that I agree with. The one bill about the police decertification, I agree with. I don't want bad cops working for Oak Lawn. I've always held myself to a higher standard, and as chief, I hold my officers to a higher standard. But I think they know as long as they maintain those standards, they'll have my backing and yours. But, we don't want any bad apples here. Other than that, I don't really know who started it, but I've just been trying to forward you on the information as best as I can, but I do appreciate your support. I know I sent an email out, one of them, and within 5 seconds, someone sent me back, done. So I do really appreciate that, and I'll try and pass on as I can to you over the next day and a half.
Thank you.
Chief. That's
Any
all.
other discussion?
Yes, Mayor, there's one other comment. The Chief was referencing the groups that are supportive and opposed. I think I read somewhere where the Illinois State's Attorneys Association all unanimously against, except for one state's attorney.
Yes, there's Kim Fox.
Kim Fox, our Cook County State's Attorney. So, again, begins and ends with safety, and I think too many quiet voices here are being beaten down for fear of appearing to be, again, pro-police brutality or defending bad police. We can't be afraid to speak up and call out the inanity of this kind of bill. So I just wanted to point that out. There's one state's attorney in the entire state who is behind this. It's unfortunately it's our state's attorney. So.
Thank you.
Madam Mayor?
Yes, Trustee Olejniczak.
One of the things that concerns me, and Tom, you went over it, but in just the last week in the village of Oak Lawn, we had a carjacking that was right off of Southwest Highway and 95th Street. We had another carjacking that happened off of, 97th and Cicero. And then we had a early AM where a individual went through the drive-through window to rob a Dunkin' Donuts. And that doesn't even include what's happened in the other communities that surround us. But there's a very big concern of how these criminals, if somebody makes a choice to do that, they obviously understand that they're making a choice and they're doing something that's wrong. And to not address the situation of, if there's no negative response, how do the police do their jobs? How do you continue to maintain a safe society? And by the way, I believe our police have done a phenomenal job here in the village of Lawn, and I just don't understand how anybody with common sense would not want to give as much, if not more, support to our police and lawful authority. So it just concerns me, Tom, when you say that there's only one state's attorney that didn't support, that does support this, the rest of them don't support. And I know that the police won't tell you awkwardly about their frustration is, and they'll do their job every day, but when they bring somebody through the due process system and that person is out on the street within 12, 24 hours, and they're right back doing what they were doing before, that's a bad statement and a bad way to continue.
Mayor, could I have one more thing to add?
Certainly.
Hearing these discussions, it reminds me of a time, I think it was in 2006 or 2007, where there was a spate of armed robberies in Oak Lawn. You know, it was just, it was scary. You know, Walgreens on 107th Street, and Dan, you guys might remember, maybe not, but I do remember, and why I think it's important that we address it in the way that seemingly common sense would dictate, but I remember the chief at the time, Bill Villanova, made a determination that we were going to aggressively go after this. And he, I mean, I remember hearing some of the things that you guys did, and, you know, low jacks and tracking devices and going into, you know, these neighborhoods, these bad neighborhoods and you know, surveilling these people. And what happened? They were arrested. The bad guys were arrested. And guess what happened? The armed robbery stopped. And how that's not common sense anymore, I don't know. But again, I don't want to beat it to death. I think it's time for people, like-minded people of all races, creeds, colors, sexual orientations, doesn't matter. Your party, your politics, your Trump, your Biden, your Harris, your Pence, it doesn't matter. You're either in favor of living in a safe society or you're not. You know, and the rest we can take care of ourselves in the courts of law or bringing people up on charges if you feel you're unfairly targeted. But until we establish that as a baseline, I think, you know, it's going to be bad news. And I'm calling upon all of us to be more forceful about that.
And one more thing, Ming, I just want to put it on record. I have received 2 phone calls on this bill asking me to vote for it. And of course, I told them exactly how I feel about it. But there is a group out there soliciting support for this bill. And I just wanted to make that part of the record.
Thank you very much. I just want to comment just briefly. This topic's been discussed. Everything that's been said, you wonder, is there more to say? But, you know, Trustee Olenichik, your comments earlier that these bills are morphing into multiple bills. Should we amend this resolution to incorporate those other bills?
I would recommend that we amend it, and then I also recommend that Trustee Phelan has already said, that we as a village go on record as saying that we support our police and we support giving them the tools to be successful in maintaining
Thank you,
safety.
Trustee Olenichik, for that motion. Can you list the bills that you referenced earlier?
Yeah, so far, there was a change to House Bill 163 SA 002. You have House Bill 3653, and you have Senate Bill 1968. That's as of this meeting. I don't know if there's been any other changes.
If there is, I'll forward them to you, but as of now, I think the last one I sent to you was earlier this afternoon. That's the last update I got.
We oppose all of them.
Okay, so we're going to amend Resolution 120104 to oppose Illinois House Bill 163, House Bill 3653, and Senate Bill 196. Do we need a motion and a second?
96 or 8?
196, Senate Bill 196.
1968, Senate Bill
1968, I'm sorry.
And that's House Bill amended 163 SA 002.
Thank you. Okay, so we have a motion to amend this, and
So moved.
Trustee Stalker is our second. Thank you. We're going to take a vote now. Any discussion on that amendment?
Mayor, I would also like, so this doesn't just appear to be ceremonial, that when you sign this, if you will, that it immediately be sent to the
Yes.
legislators, yeah,
Fine,
if that wasn't the intent.
that's fine. Brian, can you make sure that that happens? Thank you, sir. Okay, let's call that vote, please, on item V as amended.
Just a motion to approve the
Yes.
new amendment. So we just need another motion to approve. Do we have that?
Okay, thank you. A motion to approve the new amendment.
Correct.
Okay, Trustee Olenichik made that motion. Trustee Mallows our second? No. Who's that?
I did.
Trustee Stalker.
Trustee Stalker. Okay, thank you. Okay, and now let's call the vote. Thank you, Paul.
Trustee Desmond?
Yes.
Trustee Phelan?
Yes.
Trustee Vorder?
A passionate yes.
Trustee Mallow?
Yes.
Trustee Stalker?
Yes.
Trustee Olenichik?
The most passionate yes I've ever did.
Motion passes.
Even at your wedding, more passionate than...
That's a vote, not a choice.
Just was
My
curious.
passionate yes at my wedding was always the most important.
Okay, I just want to clarify, because I know Teresa will be
Thank you, wow.
wondering. Okay, thank you. This moves us on to item 11, ordinance 210116, an ordinance authorizing the placement and use of temporary trailers at 4700 West 103rd Street to provide for a COVID-19 testing center. May I have a motion on 11, please?
Motion to approve.
Okay, trustee Phelan made that motion?
No.
Trustee Warder made that motion.
Second.
By trustee Stalker. Thank you. I'm sorry, guys. I think I need my hearing checked. Any yes.
Yeah, I believe our petitioner is here. I'd like to ask him a question or two. Mayor. Can I do it?
Certainly. Yes. Do we have a handheld microphone?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, good evening, everyone.
Yes, sir.
I have with me our managers, Nida Wadlowski, and we have Mohammed. I'm Dr. Al-Zain, Hassan Al-Zain. I'm the petitioner who wants to open a COVID testing center in the village of Oakland. Actually, we tried before Christmas, but kind of the holidays got in the way.
Yeah.
So here we are again. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes, Mayor. Doctor, it seems to me that there's plenty of testing available to the public. I mean, Walgreens is doing it, CVS is doing it. I recently was tested at a medical center here in the southwest suburbs. I'm not opposed to this, but when are we going to start giving shots? Okay,
Very soon, hopefully.
I hope so, and I hope you're going to be there giving shots rather than testing. We're ready to be giving
Absolutely. We actually signed up with the state of Illinois to be a site to give vaccines. So we are certified and registered with the Department of Public Health to administer vaccines for all ages. Even though we're a group of pediatric providers, we applied specifically to Medicare to be providers. So we could really do that task of providing vaccines as part of the mass vaccine program. For our site, I completely understand there's so many testing sites, and we truly tried to do this a couple of months ago, but we had some logistical issues. But we had started one site in Crestwood in December. We got the second site approved in Worth. It will start on Saturday. Our site is unique in a way where we really, the goal is to, I'm a pediatrician. Our group is 10 providers. And we have 3 managers, and we have been servicing, we've been in the area servicing the community here in Oakland for 25 years. I took over from a pediatrician who was before me in the same community, same families for 35 years. So we really have been serving grandparents, parents, and kids. And we have, thank God, we had earned the trust of our community. As part of pediatric practice, we have seen tremendous amount of families come to us for testing, and we do it in our urgent care in Oakland by the Children's Museum. However, we noticed a lot of parents and grandparents coming to us to do it, and we have been doing it on the side. But this model we're providing is unique in a way where it's drive-through. You don't get out of your car. We put like a trailer, you pull through the window, they swab you, or if they cannot reach, they quickly go to the other side and they swab, or, so that's kind of really the thing. Registration happens online before people come in. So they fill up all of the papers in a quick, easy format and the phone. So when they come in, it's just like you swab them and they go, and the sample gets sent to a local lab in Tinley Park. It's called Hematogenics. It's a very reputable lab. Results have been coming back in 1 to 2 days, the most. Most of the time, it's like less than 2 days. So that's a PCR test. So that's basically what we are doing.
Do you provide the rapid?
We do have the rapid test, yes. We do provide, and a lot of people, there's big demand on that one. In our site in Crestwood, we have been doing rapid tests for people who want it, and we send the PCR. It depends on the medical condition. We have a provider assess quickly through telemedicine, and if there's a need for rapid, we place an order for that.
Is it the same test? How can you do one test right away and the other one takes?
The technology, PCR is the best technology, and it needs big machines and special labs to do it, and it needs CLIA certificate. So that has to be carried to a big lab to be able to do it, and the results kind of get emailed to the patient. The rapid test is like rapid strep, where you could swab, and there's like a small kits where you could, they call it point of service, like where you could do it right on the spot. It takes about 15 minutes. So either we call the parent, we call the patient, the family, tell them like, we'll give you your results in like 15, 20 minutes, or if they could, if they want to pull over somewhere and park for 15 minutes, you could do it. We have been testing Crestwood like about 70 to 100 per day. Out of those, probably we get like 7, 8 people who really require the PCR, the rapid one. But mostly our service is like PCR. That's the main kind of, because it's the most accurate, and that's the one that people need for travel, for school, for all of that. So, but rapid is available.
But, Doctor, we don't have a date where we're going to start giving shots. I can't plan
Out of
next
his,
Monday.
it's the, talk,
I know it's,
Tony,
yeah, but
talk to Washington, frankly.
Exactly.
it's not Washington. We got to talk to the
State of Illinois.
Somebody like above our pay grade. You know, that's
Yeah.
Mayor, I have a concern.
yes.
You may or may not know this, but across the street from you, where there's a Starbucks,
Yes.
that we are having massive problems with traffic. If you're familiar with it, people coming north on Cicero, turning, going into the drive-through, and exiting back to Cicero, and it's a snake eating its tail thing. So we have traffic backed up on 103rd, people traveling from the west. I've witnessed it myself, 35 miles an hour slamming on the brakes. So it's basically choking it down to one lane. My concern here is maybe not on the testing part of it, but if you did get approved for vaccinations, I don't think this is a particularly good location, because if the cars are backing out onto 103rd Street coming the other way, we're going to have an absolute nightmare here. So on the Crestwood location, when you said you're doing 180 cars a day, how does that average out in your parking? How many are in the queue at any given time, or your busiest time?
Wonderful, sir. Just this permission, we really want the permit to do testing now. We do not want to use this site with the setup we're doing for vaccinations. We have the reason exactly for the same reason, because vaccination needs different setup. After somebody gets the shot, have to have a seat for about 15 minutes to 20 minutes to monitor for side effects, so make sure they're not allergic. And this setup, in Oakland, we are not set up to do this. We don't have the capacity. We will, if you want to do the vaccines, we have 3 offices in the area, one in the medical building 6700 West 95th in Millet Company of Mary. We have one in Evergreen Park in the Mary Potter Pavilion 2850, and we have an urgent care by the Children Museum. Also the Crestwood site, we have a full building. The village had granted us like license to use their civic center, which is huge. That's where they do the court system, and we definitely vacate the time they use the court. They organize it, but that place has a lot of chairs like separated, and they have big parking lot. So we have multiple other facilities to accommodate for the vaccine. For this one, I don't think the setup absolutely at all support like giving vaccination. So we are really requesting permit to testing only. And our Crestwood, the way our system works, like because we have people come in with appointment, we don't put like signage come in. If somebody comes in with no appointment, they may be turned away if we have, so we put all signs that you need to make an appointment. We control the volume, but like how often we do the appointments. In our Crestwood, the most you could see, like maybe we have 2 queues. Each queue would have maybe 1 or 2 or maximum maybe 3 cars. I have on site our managers, they have constantly working on the project. We remotely monitor the site also with cameras. So, and if we see at all that there will be like increase in car volume, we'll decrease the volume and the number of appointments. So we have full control immediately. We could just like day by day open and close appointments because the software is owned by the lab that we use a software that's kind of the people who are made the software allowed us to use it. So we have like day by day ability to change the schedule. We give appointments like for today, tomorrow, and the day after tomorrow. So we really kind of know exactly who's coming tomorrow.
So I want to seize on something you said. Is it appointment only exclusively, or you said maybe they'll get turned away if they drive
I'll
up.
tell you, like, we do not advertise at all for drive-through. But let's say if there's no one at all, and then I get an older gentleman or like somebody who is in need or doesn't know how to use the computer, to say, I didn't know how to go online and do it, we'll accommodate. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
not like something but if we see like we have long line of cars, we have our people go to the cars and then make sure they have appointment. If there's like 2, 3, 4 cars, somebody goes, check their confirmation number. If somebody is not, they will be asked to go. We'll give them like a flyer that has how to make an appointment. Tell them, please go ahead and make an appointment, and we'll be happy to see you at your time.
So my only concern is if it's known, becomes known that you are flexible, which is a
Yes.
good thing.
Yes.
I mean, there are full classrooms of kids that are being told in one day's time,
Right.
you have a contract issue, you need to get tested immediately before you come back to school.
Right.
So if you're known as a flexible location, that you may get that, and then it's, how do you might think, okay, now I can go out there and stop it, but I don't want to suggest you have to be one or the other, but you have a very unique problem across the street. We are working with Starbucks right now, and they're very aware. It's a matter of time before the rear-end collision. I just want to make this super, I was even going to propose, maybe not opening until 9. I know you're talking about opening at 8, but, at Starbucks, Dan, you guys monitor how crowded that place is. It's up and down and around,
Right.
and so I just want to be on record here, you really have to watch that.
We will be like hawks. Honestly, the fact that we have been managed the site, and we have really, because it's a new operation. We're not in operation, we're in medical field. It's a new operation we have there. It has really proven to be very seamless, very smooth. We're hands-on. That's why I could confidently stand here and tell you, like, there will be no traffic. If we see traffic today, we'll fix it today. You know what I mean? So we definitely, Oakland is busier than Crestwood. We completely understand that the need for the village of Oakland and the surrounding area is bigger than the others. And honestly, this service, if you could call the village over there and ask, we worked closely with Mayor Presta and with his office, and they are extremely happy. You could call them. We truly respond to any comment, any improvement. You could consider us like your extension. We're the village of Oakland testing. You let us know, like, we want this and this, we'll be happy to do it. Our goal is, honestly, I work in Evergreen. If I tell you how many police officers I serve in my practice, you probably don't believe it. Probably our practice is #1 practice for serving police officers, firemen, city workers.
Okay, I'm going to just rein it in and just,
But we truly will respect will honor any.
Yeah, this is not this, I want to be clear, nobody thinks it's a bad idea.
Yes.
All about the logistics.
The location.
Somebody coming from the west wanting to turn left to come north while you're backed up there is going to close off 103rd Street completely.
Right.
Because of the right lane being blocked by Starbucks.
Right, and the
That's a
issue-
very, very likely scenario if the cars in your queue are backed up to 103rd.
The issue, Trustee Phelan, the issue also is Fuller's. Fuller's right there with that car wash. That's where those people are going to be turning in. You could be having people come thinking that they're getting into the arena parking lot there. This is,
It just needs.
it's not an issue about,
Aware that we may have to come back at you, said, hey, change
Absolutely.
of plans.
Absolutely. Actually, to be honest, we tried to do it, and the Park District gave us permission to use their facility where the aquatic center, and was our first bid. But then when we got denied because of 95th Street, we said let's try to find a location far away from 95th. So that's where we need a facility because we don't own the building. So that's why we went to 103rd. So we went there out of consciousness to avoid 95th Street. But we over there will be extremely cautious and careful to make sure the cars does not even build up to get a toll to the street. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if just I invite any one of you to kind of drive by our Crestwood if you have time and look at the setup. It is hopefully we'll do even better over here. So we're motivated. We're taking our time and effort. We want to really serve the community, the first responders, the village people. We practice here, so we're part of you. We completely hear what you're saying.
thank you, very, very nice.
You're welcome.
Any other discussion on this item? So let's call the vote, please.
Trustee Desmond?
Yes.
Trustee Phelan?
Yes.
Trustee Vorder?
Yep.
Trustee Mallow?
Yes.
Trustee Stalker?
Yes.
Trustee Oliniechek?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Luck.
Thank you so much.
Item 12, Village Clerk's Report. Jane?
Approval of semi-monthly disbursements number 2020-24D dated December 22nd, 2020, in the amount of $2,871,625.66.
Thank you very much. May I have a motion on 12A, please?
Motion to pay the bills.
Thank you, Trustee Vorder made that motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Trustee Stalker, thank you. Any discussion? Let's call the vote, please.
Trustee Desmond?
Yes.
Trustee Phelan?
Yes.
Trustee Vorder?
Yes.
Trustee Mallow?
Yes.
Trustee Stalker?
Yes.
Trustee Oliniechek?
Yes.
Motion passes. And B is approval of semi-monthly disbursements number 2021-01D dated January 12th, 2021, in the amount of $6,790,896.64.
Thank you. May I have a motion on 12B like boy, please?
Motion approved, Mayor.
Trustee Vorder made the motion again. Do I have a second?
Second.
Trustee Stalker, thank you. Any discussion? Call the vote, please.
Trustee Desmond?
Yes.
Trustee Phelan?
Yes.
Trustee Vorder?
Yes.
Trustee Mallow?
Yes.
Trustee Stalker?
Yes.
Trustee Oliniechek?
Yes.
Motion passes. And C, general village matters. The Village Hall will be closed on Monday, January 18th, in honor of Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday. That's it, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. My report's going to be brief. I just want to touch base, on the week we've just experienced. I was kind of moved as we started the meeting. I was getting a little emotional. We all stood up and we said the Pledge of Allegiance. And, what we have here and what we enjoy in this country is so precious. It is worth keeping together. I think if you say the pledge, think of the words, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I think as we move forward, let's think of those words. Let's try to carry them in our heart. And with that, I'm going to move on to item 14, executive session number 2020-101, for the purpose of discussing, number one, approval of the closed meeting minutes, 2020-09, dated November 10th, 2020. Number two, the setting of the price for sale or lease of property owned by the public body. Number three, the purchase or lease of real property for the use of the public body. And may I have a motion on 14?
So moved. So moved.
I'm sorry, was that Trustee Oliniechek and seconded by Trustee Mallow? Thank you. Any discussion? Let's call the vote, please.
Trustee Desmond? Yes. Trustee Phelan?
Yes.
Trustee Vorder?
Yes.
Trustee Mallow?
Yes.
Trustee Stalker?
Yes.
Trustee Oliniechek?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you very much. We're going to move into executive session, and we will return for the item that was moved beyond 14 and then adjournment. So let's clear.
It doesn't matter.
Okay, you good, Jane?
Either way, either way.
Okay, we are out of executive session. The time is 9:16 PM. We have item 10O next, ordinance 210111, an ordinance approving execution of an agreement regarding the monetization of the village's cell tower enterprise. May I have a motion on O?
Move to table.
Thank you. Trustee
Second.
Phelan made a motion to table, seconded by Trustee Oliniechek. Thank you. Any discussion here? Call that vote, please.
Trustee Desmond?
Yes.
Trustee Phelan?
Yes.
Trustee Vorder? Trustee Mallow?
Yes.
Trustee Stalker?
Yes.
Trustee Oliniechek?
Yes.
Thank you.
Motion
Item
6-0 to table.
Item 15, motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Trustee
Second.
Oliniechek made that motion, seconded by Trustee Stalker.
Who was it, Alex?
Trustee Oliniechek and Trustee Vorder. Sorry, I can't hear tonight. No, it's the
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Everyone, we are adjourned. It is 9:17 p.m.